Hey, how are you today? I'm doing good, thanks. Actually having a pretty great day so far. Woke up about 4 o'clock this morning, did my workout, got in some exercise, and ate some breakfast, spent some time with my wife and my son, and now I'm doing this video and I'll be to a closing before 8:30. So I've gotten more accomplished in the last 4 hours than most of my competition will all day. So anyway, enough about me. Want to do a video today on inspections, home inspections, and what that means in our series of there's more to negotiate in the price of real estate, or excuse me, there's more to negotiate in real estate other than the price. I got that mixed up there this morning. Anyway, inspections. As a part of any good purchase while you're in escrow, you're probably going to want to do inspections. Sometimes not, like part of the inspection clause is to totally negate it and kick it out of your contract, which is always up to you as the buyer. Obviously that strengthens the seller side, but if you're competing on an offer or you already know the property, a lot of times we'll run into situations where it's not necessary, or you feel comfortable without doing a home inspection or property inspection, home inspection, survey, any of those sorts of things, structural stuff, soil surveys or soil inspections, hazardous materials types situations. You may feel comfortable not doing those inspections, or you want those inspections. Like that's a integral part of the deal, and so you got to know how to communicate that with the seller through your contract, and what's that mean for both parties prior to closing. Obviously that is a negotiating term. Now once we're moving through that contingency, obviously there's going to be some dates that things have to be wrapped up by, and when we need to report back to the seller, and all of which are part of your due diligence and our due diligence to help you through the process of buying, right? Like one of the reasons you hire us as realtors is to guide you through the process and make sure you're not going default in your contract. So recent experience on this I kind of want to share with you. Got a house under contract, and in the contract, actually, we had a pretty savvy buyer. The buyer actually listed in additional provisions, I think I had listed 10 or 12 items to be repaired. Made that a part of the offer, built it into the offering price that they were willing to accept. Buyer and seller agreed, we're moving forward. Said buyer chooses to get further inspections. A few more items show up. And of course they report that to the seller, and you're like, oh, by the way, we want these things done too. Now I represent the seller in this deal. It's a co-op sale with another agent from another brokerage, and now all of a sudden the seller's feeling like, what are they doing? What are they bringing to the table that's going to entice me to do another list of 7 or 8 repairs? Yeah, some of them are pretty minor, they're pretty basic, but the point was, I already agreed to your 10 or 12 initial repairs, and we agreed to a lesser price than the ask when you made your offer. Now they're wanting more. So fast forward a couple days, seller wants some time to think about it, consider the options. I don't much care because I'm confident in our marketing programs. Like, we can let this deal go and go back on the market all day long, and I'd be comfortable because it's the right price, right condition, right location. It has a lot of positive things. Plus, I believe in our marketing plan that this seller chose. And so anyway, buyer's agent all of a sudden starts getting nervous and starts texting me daily, calling me daily. Hey, what's the update? What are we doing? My buyer really wants in, And I'm like, let's be honest. You guys didn't sweeten the pot when you come back at us and swung a second time. Like, why would the seller take you serious? Or, what part of negotiating is there's give and take on both sides. What's it gonna take to make all the parties agree that this is a wise decision. Like, okay, so you want more repairs. The seller or the buyer wants a more perfect house. And oh, by the way, there's no such thing as a perfect house. Even a brand new house isn't perfect. But yeah, let's go ahead and swing a second time at the seller and try to knock them down some more. Like I'm like, whatever. So anyway, these negotiations continue on. Kind of the point of this is they continue on inside the deal after we're under contract. The inspection contingencies allow for a buyer to open the contract back up per se and renegotiate some terms to make them more happy and moving forward with the purchase. All of which is within their realm, right? Like, I get it. You know, if we find some things that really affect the value or really deter you from want to purchase the property, or the, you know, could be a commercial building or whatever. Back to my hazardous materials example, you may not want to do soil amendments and work with hazmat that way. So yeah, I mean, any of these things can cause burden for either the seller or the buyer, and we just got to make sure that the terms are right for both sides to keep facilitating the deal. Like, what's it going to take to make you all happy? Anyway, this example I shared with you recently kind of spurred this video this morning, because it really was a virtually new house, totally remodeled inside and out, new roof, new siding, new concrete all the way around the house. Inside, they top to bottom, it was all new, including repaired some sheetrock, retextured paint, all new windows, the full boat. And yet this buyer wanted to bring some garbage to the table. So just be mindful. If you're a buyer, put yourself in the seller's shoes for a second and be like, is that a reasonable request, or can I live with that? Same way if you're a seller, put the buyer's shoes on, and if you were the buyer buying your property, is that a reasonable request? Is that something we should live with to get the deal done? So just take a second, think about life a little bit, and don't knee-jerk your decisions so much. Be thoughtful, and we're going to give you advice on the market. If it's a buyer's market, we may suggest you need to do everything possible to please the buyer. If it's a seller's market, we're probably going to tell the buyer, you probably shouldn't be so picky. If you thought you wanted this house and you're okay with the condition it's in, it's probably going to be that condition. You're not going to get a ton of repairs unless something huge shows up, like a foundational issue, or fence is off boundary by, if it's an in-town property and the fence is off boundary by 10 feet and it's going to cost $30,000 to repair, move the fence or whatever, that's the point where you need to pull out. But or you can make your own decisions, obviously, but you need to be more cognitive of the decisions you make. But if it's a $500 repair versus a $30,000 fix, put it in perspective, and be mindful of all the parties involved, and don't try to. The other thing to be mindful of is don't try to leverage your real estate agent as a negotiating tool to really nitpick the entire process. That isn't going to work out in the end either. Most people will pick up on that in the end, and it's just going to cause for poor negotiating moving forward. And if something else surfaces and you need time, you need another time allowance or some sort of concession, all of a sudden the other party's going to be like, you know what, last week you acted this way, now I'm like, I'm not into that now. Whereas before I may have allowed that to happen. So you just got to be aware of all your surroundings in these real estate deals and know how to navigate forward. So if you got any questions, be sure to reach out to us. And I kind of speak for everybody involved in this video, obviously, because it's not a cut and dry scenario. Every contract, every buyer and seller are different. So there's never a black and white answer. You know, you got to take all the information in for what it is, and then make the decision that's best for you to be able to move forward. And sometimes that's pulling out of a deal and starting over. Like, yeah, that's an okay decision too. So anyway, I'm Jason Walker. Like the page, share it, ring the bell, toot the horn, do what you need to do to stay in touch. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.